Hello and welcome back to Marauders at Midnight. I'm your host, Isabella,
And I'm B.
the other host,
Yes.
and we are talking about Peter Pettigrew.
Yes.
Very
The
exciting.
traitor.
I feel like some of you will click on this and be like, oh, what do you have to say about this guy? Like, well, no. We have a lot to say about him, and it's
Oh,
good
yeah.
things
We don't
and
have a
bad
lot
things.
of canon notes, though, because JKR didn't even give him a birthday.
I hate her.
Me
I hate
too.
her. She's so bad
Didn't
at.
even give him proper parents. His parents are, it's literally labeled Mrs. Pettigrew. He doesn't even, not even a Mr. Pettigrew. It's devastating.
Yeah. I mean, like, I get that, like, his parents weren't really important to the story, but, like, come on. At least,
Neither
like,
were Remus's, well, Remus's dad, but.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, no. At least give her a first name.
Right? And give him a dad. Give him a Mr. Pettigrew, even. Like, it's ridiculous.
Exactly. But
So
anyway,
yeah. Peter Pettigrew doesn't have a middle name. I don't even think he has a fanon middle name. Like, Sirius does.
it's sad.
It is.
We're already, like, getting into it. Like, it just shows, like,
It's
people
neglectful.
don't like his character, and we're gonna get into why we think so after the canon stuff, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. Shall I begin?
Yes, you shall.
Okay. Peter Pettigrew was born in 1960. Again,
No
don't
birthday.
know the date. Um, to Mr. and Mrs. Pettigrew. I just said Mr. Pettigrew because, like, obviously he has a dad. So I'm just assuming. And we know his mother was a witch. And that's all we know about his family, really. Um,
Oh, interesting. It's the most
yeah.
in-depth family we've heard so
Right?
far.
Um, when he was being sorted at the sorting ceremony in first year, the hat wavered between Slytherin and Gryffindor for more than 5 minutes. So Peter was a hat stall, um, because again, the hat couldn't choose what to put him in for so long, and then the hat eventually landed on Gryffindor. I think
Hmm.
that's actually very interesting.
I kind of like assume that, like, because I don't know, people just always assume that Slytherin is the evil characters and, oh, like,
Hmm.
Peter should be in Slytherin. But I think he is a true Gryffindor because
Oh,
he's brave
absolutely.
enough to make that betrayal
Yeah.
happen.
And another about the evil people being in Slytherin. Sorry, this is so off topic. I think Bellatrix could have been a Hufflepuff because she is so
Mm-hmm.
loyal. Like
Yeah.
she just has that overall like loyalty to her. Like she's so loyal to Voldemort. She's so loyal to her family. She could have been a Hufflepuff, I think.
Yeah.
I think she's only in Slytherin partially because she's evil.
Yeah. And I feel like it's just like the Black family, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. She
Who knows?
had a
She
lot
could
of those
have,
traits like with the
yeah,
family, and
she could have even asked to be sorted in Slytherin.
that's true. I
Hmm.
always like forget about that, and then I think about it, I'm like, "Oh my God, like literally there's
Yeah.
so many black family members that could have been something else, but they weren't because they
Hmm.
asked."
Serious, not serious. Regulus could have asked to be put in.
That's one of my head
We'll get
headcanons.
into that in the
Yeah,
Regulus episode.
we will.
Um, but yes, so Peter was a hat stall,
Yeah.
which I think is very interesting, and I'm glad we have a little bit of information on him at least.
So that is canon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I don't know if I even like really knew that. Maybe I did and I just
I've
forgot.
heard it, but I didn't remember it until I read it again. So I think
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously he was friends with the Marauders. He helped them bully Snape, and they became Animagi together after they found out Remus was a werewolf in second year. And it took them 3 years to become Animagi when, as we mentioned in James's episode, and when
Yes.
he transformed, obviously, he turned into a rat. and his nickname became Wormtail because rats have tails that look like worms.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um, Imagine
I
for a rat.
okay, I just kind of thought of this now. I know that everyone's like, "Oh, like I can't believe they gave him that nickname. I would like hate my friends for that." I feel like
I
he
think
came
it's
up with
cute.
it.
I think it's
I think
cute.
I think that he was like, "What about Wormtail? Because my tail looks like a worm."
I
LOL.
was okay. There's a scene in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen, where Rocket and his friends are coming up with names for each other, and there's this one. Her name is Floor, and she's like, "I want to be named Floor because I'm laying on the floor." I think he straight up was like, "My tail looks like a worm, so I want to be called Wormtail."
Yeah, I just feel like he was very like comedic and
Oh
like
yeah,
just everything was a joke for him and like he just
yeah.
wanted to be funny and
He's a
not really
funny guy.
take anything seriously.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, I don't think that was like to be mean.
yeah. And
Like,
if it
and
was,
I
yikes.
mean, really, Padfoot's not a good name, a really good name either. It's because he's got pads on his foot, because he's a dog.
I love how they named him Mooney.
Yeah,
Like
because the moon. Like they
imagine
all,
like that's his boggart. The moon is his boggart, the full
yeah,
moon. And they
that's so
go,
sad.
"Ha, Mooney."
Moony. And then James's prongs. His nickname's my favorite though.
I like that one. That one's
Um,
really good actually.
yeah. But no, they not all of them have these amazing nicknames.
They're all so stupid.
Like they were 15 when they thought of these. Of course they're going to be stupid. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he's got a fine. And I think people only hate that name because one, worms are gross, kind of. And two, because it's Peter. So they're like, ew.
And I feel like he would have liked it because I had canon him to be very into like herbology. And so like he would
He
be
likes
interested in
playing in the
like
dirt and
bugs.
learning about bugs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's cute. So, yeah, I think he probably came up with his own nickname.
Yeah.
Or at least if he didn't, he still liked it. I don't think he would have let them call him that if he really didn't like it.
Yeah. I don't yeah, no. I feel like he would have been like, "Really? Like that's my name." Like for Remus, they'd be like, "Oh
Exactly.
yeah, Remus, you get that name. You have to deal with it." But
Uh-huh.
like Peter, if he said something, they would have been like, "Okay, fine." Like,
Okay, fine. You can have something better.
yeah,
Also, sorry, this just popped in my head. The way Sirius says, "You're rat"
you're
in
rat.
Prisoner of Azkaban.
I love how
It's
he
so
says it.
funny. He's so
You're
extra.
rat. I can't roll my R's, but
You're rat. Rat. What was that? Okay,
rolling
but
my
anyway,
R's.
I love it. So yeah, he was Wormtail. Um, this is gonna hurt you a little bit, but apparently McGonagall describes him as stupid and foolish.
Yeah, I knew that.
So that's like a little sad. I didn't,
I
not my Minerva.
yeah, no, she would never. But
No.
oh, I wrote something about that.
Okay.
Like he was seen as like the not very bright one. He was like dumb and like just
Well,
always kind of followed after them.
it is canon that he didn't have good grades or anything, although I'd like to think
Yeah.
his herbology grade was good.
But the way that I see him is like, yeah, maybe he didn't have good grades, but people who don't have good grades, like that doesn't
They
mean
are
they're
not
stupid.
stupid. No, absolutely not.
A lot of the time it's like they just don't care enough to try. Like it's not their
Yeah.
thing. And
Or
they have
even
other passions.
some people just aren't academically smart. That doesn't mean you're not smart in other ways. Like I
Exactly.
know kids, like I've known people who are like smarter, like have much better common sense than I do. I have horrible common sense. And like horrible grades. And I personally, I had really good grades in school. I was very good academically. But again, I lack that common sense a little bit because I focus too much on the academics, I think.
I feel like, because I don't know if it's canon for like pureblood wizarding families to like send their kids to regular school before Hogwarts, but say that it is. I feel like Peter went to like early school years and was like really
Mm-hmm.
good, and he did good in like math and English and all those things,
Yeah.
and eventually like he got to the magic
Yeah, you
school.
rip him out of what he's used to kind of in that, and like he just might not have caught the
I
he just might not have grasped it as well.
Yeah, I think his character, he's very like once he knows something, like that's what he knows and he doesn't want to like move on from it and then like
Yeah.
switching to magic. And I feel like he wasn't like the best at connecting with his magic. And that was the
Yeah.
problem, which is why he ended up following like a dark wizard who could give him
Mm-hmm.
like he could just follow
Give
along
him
with the
that special
power.
like yeah.
And I feel like he was just burnt out, and that's why like he didn't do as well, and that's
Yeah.
why
I
people thought he
definitely
was
yeah.
stupid.
Probably.
Yeah, I
And
don't
I yeah.
he definitely wasn't
Oh
stupid.
no.
I mean,
If yeah, I
he
don't think he
survived
was
that
stupid.
long.
Right? He thought to transform into his animagus and then become a pet rat. I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm
Oh my
sorry.
god. He cut his own finger off. He's
Yeah,
committed.
to frame like I wouldn't have thought about that.
He killed 12 muggles, somehow
Mm.
got Sirius to be in the area,
Uh-huh. Cut off his
cut his
finger,
finger and ran.
turn cuz they're illegal animaguses, so they're not
Yeah.
registered, so they don't know that. Like the ministry doesn't know that. So yeah, he turned into his animagus and then fled the scene.
He is smart, just
Yeah.
street smart, not school smart.
Not school smart. Yeah. So yeah, it's also described that he hero worshipped James and Sirius a lot,
Mhm.
which I want to talk about that more when we get into the headcanons, how I don't think that's true. But we'll save that.
And again, this is like from different characters' perspective and how they saw what
Yeah,
it was like. We don't know
yeah.
what was like
This
going through his
is,
head.
I believe that this is mostly from McGonagall, like this stuff.
Yeah.
And like probably like Snape or something.
Yeah, and they don't see everything. They're just like they see it in the
Exactly.
halls and in classrooms and stuff. But
Exactly.
yeah.
Um, he joined the order with the rest of the Marauders, but in 1980 he became a spy for Voldemort because he joined the dark side, obviously, because um, they didn't think anyone would suspect Peter to become a spy, which
Yeah.
last episode we talked about Sirius insisting on him being the secret keeper for James and Lily because no one would suspect him. He's
Yeah.
very like he's very good at not being seen, I feel like.
I feel like he
Like
knew that and he
yeah.
took that as an advantage to
Yeah.
do what he wanted.
He can fly under the cover and no one's going to notice him.
Yeah, I think maybe he's not smart, but he's clever. And I know that's like kind of the
Yeah,
same thing, but it's not at the same time.
it's different. It's definitely different, especially in an academic sense. Because again, he's not academically smart, but in a lot of other ways, he is
Yeah.
very clever. Um, so yes, so he became the secret keeper, and then he betrayed his friends. He framed Sirius by what we just said, killing 12 muggles, cutting off his finger, fleeing the scene in his animagus form. And then, of course, it looks like Sirius has done this. Um, so yeah. And then, so he's in hiding with the Weasley family until Prisoner of Azkaban, where then he is found out on the Marauders map, and then eventually Sirius and Remus get, like, they spell him or something in the movie, so he turns back.
Yeah.
And then it's revealed that he was Scabbers all along. He did it. Sirius is innocent. Because he's alive, obviously. And
I
then
cannot believe that he spent the 12 years
12
living as a
years.
rat with a random
Right?
wizard family.
I would hate that. Because rats are only supposed to live between 2 to 3 years, it
Yeah.
said. So he's an
And
abnormally old rat.
he could have, and I know everyone sees him as a coward, and he definitely is in a
Hmm.
certain way, but he could have ran and went anywhere as a rat, and he would have never been found.
Well, yeah, and he only stayed hidden as a rat because he was scared the other Death Eaters would like punish him for leaving everything in such chaos.
Yeah,
Like
and
he was horrified of like Lucius and them.
he also didn't know like that there was any signs of Voldemort yet. Like as soon as there
Yeah,
was, he came out and he was like ready
yeah,
to
yeah.
go and find
I
him.
think it said that's why he stayed with a wizarding family so like
Yeah.
close to it, so he would know and like would be able to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happens, and then we see him again in my favorite movie, Goblet of Fire. He cuts off his hand and brings Voldemort. He went on a like a he went and found Voldemort's wand and stuff and went to like Albania or something it said. I didn't fully read,
Yeah.
but like he was doing a lot to like get Voldemort back. So then of course we see him in the graveyard, cuts off his hand, puts little fetus Voldemort in the pot, and he's back. And
He
then Voldemort rewards him with this silver hand and like a
which
place in the
ends
Death Eaters
up
again.
killing him.
Yes,
Which
in the Deathly.
I don't like I don't know what the word is. Like I don't understand like why that happened.
I read it and I know I have the answer. In the Deathly Hollows, he was strangling Harry, and Harry was like, "You owe me." And that moment of mercy, his hand turned on him and strangled him. His silver hand strangled him and killed him because of that moment of mercy as he's strangling Harry to try and kill Harry when they're like in the dungeon.
Do you think maybe he saw James in that moment and regretted his
Why are you making it
actions
sad
and
already?
was like, I need to die. Like this is I messed up real bad. Why am I doing this still? What am I doing
Yeah.
this for? Everyone's
You know
gone.
what? Probably. That's so sad. Why would you bring that up?
Well,
And
I
then, yeah, that's actually all of the canon information we have on him.
I don't remember in the book if it was him, but he in the movie he did kill Cedric. It wasn't Voldemort. He did
Yeah,
it.
he did. Yeah. I think it's unclear in the book.
Yeah, because Harry closed his eyes.
Yeah.
And I know people are like confused with that because he ends up seeing the Thestrals the next year, but it's not because he watched it. It's like he just knew
Yeah.
he was like
He still
there.
experienced it and
He
stuff.
remembers it all too well.
Ooh. Ooh, that was
I
good.
know, right? But yeah, I think it was him that would have killed him because Voldemort could not
Yeah.
really do that on his own, especially wrapped in his
Yeah.
little baby blanket.
Exactly.
His arms were intact. He couldn't. Had to be Peter.
Okay, funny enough, in the Lego set for the graveyard scene, I have it. Voldemort is legitimately a piece of the like a baby Lego, and he's wrapped in a baby blanket, and it's just
Aw,
like his little Voldemort face. It's kind of he's sitting in the pot, and then it like you flip a piece and big Voldemort comes out. It's very fun. I'm a
little
Lego
baby
collector.
Voldy.
Yeah, it's so I'll have to show you later. It's
Little
so funny.
baby. But yeah,
So
that's
yeah,
all the canon.
that's everything. I like read it was so short.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So
damn.
yeah, that's the story of Peter Pettigrew, the
Yeah,
canon story.
I feel like, and I say this a lot. I feel like no one ever talks about. I say that a lot, but I feel like no one ever talks about the fact that he literally died from his own like self.
Well, because that didn't happen in the movie.
Yeah, he just fell, and then we never heard
You
about
didn't
him.
Dobby like spell him or
I think
something?
I feel like it just looked like he like kind of hexed him and made him fall
Hmm.
over, but it was never like shown that he was dead.
Yeah, no, he just disappeared. I didn't know he was dead actually when I was watching the movies
Yeah,
until I was
exactly.
like, yeah,
Because it's not really like fully implied, and I feel like I would never expect Dobby to actually like kill
yeah, no.
someone, But yeah,
I think they should have kept it how it was in the book for his death, because that would make a lot more
it's
sense.
it's a very like important thing for his character.
Yeah.
Canonically, that he
They
literally, and the fact that he got the silver hand from Voldemort, it's like
mhm.
that thing, the path that he chose turned on him in the last second.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, I'm dead now. Bye.
Yeah.
Like,
It's really sad.
yeah.
Okay.
Also, that hand is so slay.
It is. It's
Like,
kind of like
where's mine?
it reminds me of like how Luke in Star Wars has a robotic hand and it's just like the coolest thing ever
Yeah.
cuz his hand gets chopped off by Darth Vader. Ooh.
Also, that was so rude of Voldemort to just be like, "Give me your hand," and then
Literally.
he's like, "No, not that hand, girl. Like, get that away." Bro
Yeah.
cut his limbs off twice.
He
Can we talk
did.
about that?
Yeah.
Two separate times. He cut off a finger and then cut off his
Yeah.
hand
I wouldn't have the
in one.
strength to just cut it off.
He just
Nuh-uh.
did one swipe and it just fell. That's
Yeah, he must have had
disgusting.
a really sharp knife.
Must have a high pain tolerance.
Sushi grade. Sushi grade cutting knife. Funny enough, we have some of those because we make sushi at home.
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
go. I'll chop off my finger as an
Yeah, yeah.
experiment.
Do a test and see like how
I
hard it
couldn't
is to
handle the
do.
pain. I can barely even handle like digging my own nail into my skin.
Since there's not very much more canon information, do you want to get into like friendships and ships and
Yes,
headcanons and yeah.
yes. I have nothing written down for that stuff,
Okay.
but I know
Well,
you do. So
we've already like talked about the Marauders' friendships with him. I feel like we can just kind
absolutely,
of briefly like
yeah.
go
With
over
Remus,
it.
especially Remus and Sirius.
Yeah. Um, so I don't know. Who Okay, we'll start with James because they were definitely childhood besties, like we said last
Absolutely.
episode.
I think
Have-
I really like that headcanon
Yeah.
that you've made. It's cute.
And I feel like James was like very special to Peter, like
Yeah,
his first friend, and just like I don't know, he always relied on him
yeah.
for everything.
And honestly, it's not even like first friend too. Maybe like only friend in a way of childhood. Like
Yeah.
could have been. I imagine he's like someone who had a very hard time making friends, or like especially like keeping friends even maybe.
Yeah. I am very much like him in that way where like the only reason why I have my other friends, like besides you and like internet friends,
Yeah.
the only reason why I have my other friends is because of the one friend I made who
Hmm.
introduced me and like helped me to like feel more
Yeah.
comfortable around
I
people.
I used to be a bit better at making friends, but like I had a hard time keeping them, I find.
Yeah.
Um, like some of them, like we change and we're different, and because when you're younger, you have more of the same interests, and then interests, and people grow and like they grow out of those things. Whereas like I'm still into all the fandom crap and like the so quote unquote childish things that like
Yeah.
I used to be into, and people grow out of that, and then they don't want to hang out, and or like friends move away and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or again, you just grow apart. Like I had a best friend for 4 years. We grew apart, and now we don't speak anymore. Like I have him
Yeah.
blocked.
You
So
have
I,
everyone blocked.
I don't like. I don't. If you've done me wrong,
Yeah, no,
I'll
that's
block you. Like
completely
I don't think you should be able to contact me or stalk me or anything. Like
yeah, no,
I don't want a part of you anymore then.
that's completely valid. Like I'm not
Yeah.
like
Oh
saying like,
yeah.
"Oh wow, you block everyone," but like I'm just saying.
And I really don't. It's only again the people who like
Yeah,
I've had conflict with and like it's ended badly and
it's
like
just cutting them
it's
out of your
protecting
life.
my mental health.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then that also stops you from
Yeah,
stalking
I was just gonna
them.
say it
And
prevents me from going and like looking and seeing like, oh, I miss them. I wish I was doing this, what they're doing now with them, and
yeah,
that really helps. But yeah, keeping I don't know, it's really hard. I just recently had to cut off another friend because just we she I don't know, it was just bad. And
you don't
obviously I had some wrong in it too, but there
yeah.
was just no communication. So we just clashed and it finally blew up and gone our separate ways. There's no hard feelings there, but it just happens.
But yeah, Peter and James, we went way off track there,
Yeah,
but
sorry.
Peter and James, like definitely I think James is the reason why Peter even had like other friends and like
Yeah,
was popular at
yeah.
Hogwarts.
Well, I'm only friends with my now best friend from my old best friend.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah, I
like
totally get
just
that.
through other people he like finds his bonds
Yeah,
and his
exactly.
friendships.
And I don't see anything wrong with that, really.
Yeah, no, because I'm the exact same way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then I guess Remus, I think like we've talked about it before already, but I think Remus and Peter are just like silly and like they like to
Silly,
joke
goofy, low
together.
maintenance, very like, yeah,
Yeah.
they're good friends, but like, they're not like, oh my God, I absolutely need to spend 24 hours a day with you, blah, blah. We're
Yeah.
brothers, like James and Sirius, I feel like we're.
Yeah. And I see and I know a lot of the fandom also sees like Peter as a really good like chess player and he really likes chess
Oh, no,
and
why have I
like
never
wizard's
heard that?
chess.
Yeah.
I think it's an all the young dudes thing maybe. I don't know,
Okay.
but I feel like Remus and Peter would like play all the time
Yeah.
and just like be
That'd be
like, "Oh,
cute if like
I'm gonna beat
Peter
you."
taught Remus how to play wizard chess.
Honestly, yeah. I feel
Cause
like
yeah,
yeah, because he was more like Muggle born
I feel
in a
like Remus
way.
would know how to play regular chess, and then he taught Peter how to play regular chess.
Yeah, and then Peter, like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's cute. I like that.
um, and then Sirius, they clash a little bit, but
Yeah.
I feel like when they're alone, like I feel like they put on a show for the other people and they
Oh,
just clash. And
probably.
then when they're by themselves, they're like, "Hey, hey,
Hey,
how's it
how's
going?"
it going?
Like there's
Did you get that homework done?
they're just like awkward, like
Yeah.
small talk.
Yeah, I definitely don't see them like
Yeah.
going out of their way to hang out with each other alone, but
Yeah.
if it happened, like if like Peter's in the common room and Sirius sees him, he'd go over and be like, "Hey."
Yeah, they'd sit together in silence and do
Yeah.
their thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that.
That's cute.
But yeah, I don't like that the fandom makes it out to be like they don't get along at all because
Right?
Sirius literally said like Peter needs to be the one to like
Mm-hmm. He
be the secret
insisted on
keeper.
him being the secret keeper. If they weren't friends and they didn't get along, Sirius wouldn't have trusted him with something so precious because
Yeah.
that's James. That is Sirius's everything. Well, other than
Yeah.
Remus, but like that's so important.
I feel like they see the parts in the book where they're like teasing him, like Sirius is
Hmm.
teasing him and they run with it. But that's just like how people are friends.
Oh
Like, do you
yeah,
not tease your friends?
I tease me and my friend tease each other all the like my friend Lynn. Shout out Lynn. I know I'm forcing her to listen to this too. Um, we tease each other. I think I mostly tease her more, but she knows it's in a loving way, and that's just how I
Yeah.
express my love.
But yeah, it's I don't think that Sirius ever hated him up until
Oh,
what happened.
no. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, if he really wasn't their friend. Oh, what is.
What?
Oops, I just. Nothing.
Oh no.
I wasn't playing with a paint tube and it exploded on me.
Good job. Okay,
Thanks.
Peter moment.
What was I saying? If Peter wasn't their friend, he wouldn't be a part of the Marauders map.
No. They would not
Like,
put him in
his
on their
his
secret little
name
map.
is second on the map. Like, obviously he was sort of important.
Yeah. I literally absolutely hate that people make him seem like the annoying like, "Oh, like go away, Peter.
Yeah.
Like why does he
Yeah,
always
like
follow us around?"
he wouldn't be a marauder if he wasn't their friend.
Yeah. And I love because I didn't even know that Sirius was the one that was like he should be the secret keeper. I
Oh
love
yeah.
that. And
I
that
think
really
that's
changes how I see them.
that just really shows you that they were friends and like
And
it
he was
wasn't.
like Sirius was willing to like sacrifice himself. Chess scene. Anyway, he was
Yeah,
willing to like take the torture and let Peter like have the secret
exactly.
because he knew that like people wouldn't go after him, but he knew that he would be. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because him and James are so close,
Yeah,
everybody is going to assume that Sirius is the secret keeper.
yeah.
Whereas they're not going to assume that with Peter. And he realized that. And he trusted him. If he didn't trust him, he wouldn't have insisted that he be the secret keeper.
If Sirius did hate Peter, nothing would have gone down. Sirius
Yeah.
would have been the secret keeper, and
Yep.
then
God,
yeah.
Sirius, why couldn't you have hated him?
So the fandom, you're wrong. If he
You're
hated Peter, then he
wrong.
would have been fine.
And that's not even like an opinion, that's just a fact.
No, it is
You
straight
don't
up.
there's people I hate. I'm definitely not trusting them to be a secret keeper. Like,
No.
no. Like you could be my secret keeper, bestie, but like
Oh my God.
I'm trying to think of someone I hate. I don't know.
Donald Trump.
Anyone?
I don't know.
Dumbledore would not be my secret keeper.
Me either. Oh my God, can
Mm-mm.
we quickly talk about the fact that Dumbledore took the invisibility cloak before they were
Bitch. I
murdered?
hate him. Why did he do that?
Because he wanted to study it or
Ah,
something. But I don't
me.
understand
No,
why he even thought to do
he
that.
wanted to have all three of the Deathly Hallows, I bet.
No, he did. Like, because he was
Hmm.
with Grindelwald and that was their plan, was to get all of them.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen Secrets of Dumbledore yet. We gotta watch
I
that.
think, yeah. But
Sorry,
yeah,
I know that's
that's,
like not related.
sorry.
Just Grindelwald reminded me of
I
it.
know. That was the lore behind
Lore.
their relationship. Which I
Oh, I'm
actually,
gonna beat him up.
I really like Dumbledore and Grindelwald, but I don't like Dumbledore
We're gonna have to
alone.
get into that in the ships episode.
I
We
know,
should
I know, I
talk
know.
about Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah,
I'm in love with Queenie.
me too.
I'm in love with her. Get
Get in
away.
line.
Get
Get into
away.
line.
Stop stealing all my crushes.
Anyways, we're off track. We're on Peter.
Peter.
It's typical fandom to
But yes, him
forget
and
about him.
Sirius. Sirius didn't hate him.
No, never.
No.
Until that.
Obviously. He grew to hate him when he
He
actually
was
betrayed the Marauders.
he was ready to like strangle the
Oh
guy.
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I'm killing him. He's
Only
dead."
one will die tonight.
And it'll
Your
be
rat.
you.
Not you. Your rat.
Me. Okay. Anyway,
Not
we did the
me.
Marauders friendships. Is there any other ones that I can think of?
James. Do we want to talk more or are we doing friendships still?
I'm just thinking if there's any other
Okay.
ones. I mean, Lily,
I
there's not
feel
much
like
that
him
I
and
can.
Lily would have been friends. And
I
not
feel
because
like
like ew, Peter. I just don't see them as being friends. Like I think they'd be friendly, but I don't see them as friends.
I feel like she liked him and they liked each
Yeah,
other in
exactly.
a friendly way, but they just didn't like talk very much.
Exactly. They were friendly, but like they never like had the chance to
Yeah.
like become friends.
I feel like Lily especially was very closed off with like the friends that she had. So she had like
Yeah.
Remus and the girls and that's it really.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, we can move on to ships. Which
Okay.
there is not a lot of Peter
No, there
ships
really isn't.
that are popular that
We
people
have, what do
actually
we have?
like.
We have two, right? Or is the
Let's do the
third one
really
you
like
mentioned also
let's
a ship?
do let's do the one that's really deep to us last because we have a lot to say about that one.
Okay.
So, the first one I have, which is something that I post about I've posted a few times about, which is Sybil Trelawney, which I don't know if she is Marauders era per se, but
We're
if
just
I don't know.
assuming she is because like she's not old enough to be with like Minnie and Poppy
Yeah.
um in that era, but like
I feel like we just have the freedom to decide where she
yeah.
is.
And she's like definitely too old for like Nymphadora's era kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I really I don't like the idea of it, but I can imagine like they were together and she's the seer. She's the person who like knew and like predicted everything,
Yeah.
but she maybe like didn't realize that it was him because she never has
Hmm.
it exact, but she gets
Yeah.
it perfect, just not specific, seeing everything.
Yeah, which I like that she's got like a limitation to it. I hate when it's just like, oh, she's all
Yeah.
seeing, no limitations.
And I really love her character. We got to talk about
Oh,
her more at some point. But
yes. I
yeah,
love her. We can add her into the girls episode.
yeah, we could actually.
Okay.
Um, I like the idea that like, they might have had like a little relationship at some point and
Yeah.
then
Even if it's just like a little fling.
like I feel like because they were connected in that way, she was able to predict that he was going to like
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, she didn't necessarily predict the betrayal, I don't think, but she
But definitely like
she knew
knew
that
that something was gonna happen.
she did predict the prisoner of Azkaban where the
Yeah.
follower would go back to him. And I feel
Yeah.
like that came from like a connection to him somehow.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think they would
that's
be really cute.
that's pretty much all I have to
Yeah.
say, I
I haven't
think,
thought
about
about
it.
that enough to have more to say on it.
Yeah.
Because
It's
again, you
just like
just told me this,
a
like,
random, like, sweet idea of
yeah,
them. Like, it's nothing super extravagant.
exactly.
Um, I want to quickly talk about Barty because the fandom, there is a joke in the fandom, which I do like, it's funny, but I also kind of like the idea that maybe not Barty liked Peter, but Peter like saw a trait in Barty where he was like, I
Hmm.
want to like hold on to this because he very much follows like powerful people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like his new James. And besides Voldemort,
Oh,
but he was
yeah.
like,
Yeah. I can see
like
that.
that. But I think it's kind of, I don't know, weird when people like laugh about it because it's like that does make sense because
Yeah.
he would have been hanging out with Barty.
Yeah. I don't like that people made a joke about that. And we'll get into that later,
Yeah.
obviously. I have very strong feelings
Yeah.
related to this. So, but yeah, I do think it could be like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It could be a legit thing.
I mean, I don't personally think it's like something that I would
Yeah.
ship, but
No, I don't see them. I personally don't see them matching together well. I think that would just be a shit show.
yeah.
But if
I
you like, I could definitely see why someone would be like, "Oh, I ship that."
I really just wanted to bring it up because of like the party joke. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to like I don't know, bring some insight on like how it's kind of it comes off weird a little bit to me.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think we should be making jokes like that about anybody or any ship or anything.
Yeah.
Well, the of like not any ship, because some ships like if you're in the supernatural fandom, you
Hmm.
probably have heard of Wincest. That one we can make fun of because that's disgusting. It literally has incest in the ship name. Like, obviously it's wrong. Or like big age gaps and stuff, like
Oh,
Hermione and Dumbledore.
oh my God.
That is gross. But
But I also wanted to say, I think the person that like started that joke, it was more like between friends and it wasn't like attacking, not even attacking, but like going after the character itself. It was like because of
yeah.
the fan film and the actors and it was
Oh
something like
yeah.
that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the lore
That's
of how it
the
happened.
that's the other like not the fan film with that one person that's
No,
like
that's
okay.
the Rise of the Order one,
Okay. Okay.
which
That's
has
what I
like
thought.
more accurate casting of
Okay.
characters and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Um we had Pandora, which we'll go over briefly as well.
Yes.
It reminds me of Neville and Luna
Oh my
because even though
goodness.
now I see them platonically, I used to really like
Oh
ship
yeah, I
them.
used to ship them so much.
And
I thought they were the couple.
it could either be platonic or romantic.
Yeah. And honestly, even if they did have a little bit of romantic phase, I feel like even after they like would have like broke up, they would have
Yeah.
stayed friends. I don't see anything with like ill will or like anyone
Yeah,
being hurt
no.
in that situation. It just would have been like, this isn't really working. I preferred it when we were friends. Can we go back to that kind of thing?
Yeah. Because again, Pandora is very like open-minded and she doesn't
Yes.
I
And
feel like
she's
she doesn't
so,
hold
I just
grudges.
imagine her to be, she's so gentle and understanding. Like, I just love her.
Yeah. Anyway, last but not least,
Oh my God.
James Prong's Tale,
James?
which I know the fandom, there's some people that do like it. There's a
I
lot of
found
people
a
that don't.
group of cosplayers that do Prong's Tail, and it's really cute. I'll have to send it to you
I think
later.
I did. Was it
Or did
like
you send it to me?
I
I
might have
know
sent it to
Peter's got
you?
like long hair, like
Yeah.
longer hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
I'm in a group chat with one of the creators. I think the person that posted it. So
Oh my
that's
God,
why I sent it to you.
that's like famous. That's like royalty. Oh my
No.
God,
But yeah,
that's
yeah,
so cool.
I liked that video.
I think it's so cute. I think they did a couple more that I saw because I followed them like immediately.
Hmm. Yeah, it was really sweet. But
Yeah,
yeah, I like Pronk's Tale.
I think it's cute.
I feel like it was sadly one-sided, kind
Yeah.
of. I mean, I do
Peter
like the idea
definitely.
that they
Oh,
might
I
have like had
love that.
something.
I love the idea that James reciprocated and was like, yeah. But I don't think James would have like reciprocated in the way that like he was in love with Regulus or Lily. I do think
Yeah,
he would have loved Peter, but it would have been like a summer fling type relationship,
yeah.
if that makes sense.
But I think that um Peter was very like caught up with him,
Yeah.
like, and he just infatuated,
Yeah.
and just he had. I think yes, he was in love with him, but I think it was like just he also wanted to be like him. He wanted what
Mhm.
James was,
Yeah.
but he interpreted it in his head as
Yeah, he thought it was
I
like,
want
"Oh,
you.
I am in love with this person, not I want to be this person."
But again, I
And
think it's a
I
mix of both at the
Yeah,
same
I
time.
think if I do think honestly, if they would have dated, yes, he would have had that romantic love, but I think he would have realized soon that he's like, "Oh, I got that mixed up in my head. Oh, excuse me. I want to be like you. I don't want to be with you."
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But I don't think that love would have like for him would have gone away though.
And I think like I see it as like he still loved him at the time that he got with Lily,
Mhm.
and
Oh,
then
yeah, yeah.
he was kind of like, I can't have what he has. I am never going to be that. And I am just
And
going
it
to.
hurt him and that's why he betrayed them.
And again, like we talked about this in the James episode where like James kind of left Peter for Sirius and
Mhm.
he didn't realize like the hurt that it would cause Peter because
Yeah,
he just never
exactly.
saw it.
Yeah, because
But,
he didn't realize he was leaving, really. He just thought he was
you
making
know,
friends and everybody was his friend still.
because if someone did that to James, he'd be like, "Oh no, it's okay. Like they just made a new friend. It's fine."
Exactly.
But Peter saw it as, would have seen it as like, "Oh, like
Oh, I'm not important anymore.
I'm
He
not
doesn't want me.
I'm not good enough
Yeah.
for him." My
Ouch.
God.
It hurts. It's painful.
Oh my God, someone keeps texting me. Literally, shut
Go
up.
away. We
I'm
don't want you
busy.
here.
Um, but yeah, I think that it was like kind of one-sided, even though James did love Peter
Yeah.
as a friend and maybe
He
even
just didn't love
romantically.
him in that way as much
Yeah.
as Peter did.
Which
It's
is
a little bit like what I said with James and Regulus, where Regulus put everything into James, but James only had like part of himself with Regulus, kind of.
yeah. And that's why like Jilly makes more sense because like
Yeah,
Lily brought out the other part of him that he needed.
yeah, exactly. And again, they're just destined to be together because a flower needs the sun, and James is the sun.
How do I bring Peter into that? Like what is he in
The
this
earth.
situation?
He's the earth. He revolved around James.
Oh my God, that's so poetic. That's
I
literally a
know.
poem.
I know.
But like, oh my God, the sun doesn't need the earth, but the earth needs the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Ouch. I
You're
mean, I guess
welcome.
the sun doesn't need flowers either, but shh,
But
shh.
that's different because like because the
Yeah.
son wanted the flowers in this situation.
Yeah.
James wanted Lily, and Lily needed James, kind of thing.
Yeah, the sun is there because it wants to grow the flowers. It wants to grow the plants.
Yeah, the Earth is there to revolve around the sun.
Yeah. Ow. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're
I'm gonna
welcome.
I'm gonna learn how to write poetry really well so I can write about that.
Okay, I
Someone
expect
someone write
50% of all the money you earn from that.
someone write a poem like that and put it in the comments and we'll read it next time.
Yes, write any Marauders poetry, and we'll read
Yes.
it in one of the in an episode. That'd be so fun.
Honestly. Yeah.
Or
But
like if
anyway,
oh, we should do an episode where we get people in like the comments or something to write down all their favorite headcanons and we like read and react to them.
yes, when we have more like people that are watching
Yes.
consistently, we can
Or
do
even
that.
if you like ask like on your TikTok, be like write headcanons and we'll
Oh yeah, true.
react
That's
to
very
them and
true.
like that might even get more traffic flowing to the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm being a businesswoman right now. Anyway,
Yeah.
James moment.
I think that I we kind of touched on Prong's Tail.
Yeah.
I don't think we missed really anything we would wanted to say.
No, I definitely think it's good.
Um, I don't know if I really okay, I kind of have like headcanons, but I didn't really write
Okay.
any.
Well, lay them on me, the ones that you
Hold on.
have. Okay.
Actually, no, I think I literally have one,
That's okay.
and it's so
It's better
silly.
than none. Oh, give me the sillies.
It's kind of like more modern, but Ratatouille.
No. Oh my
That's all
God, I
I'm
know where you're going with
that's all
this.
I need to say. I made a TikTok about it already, but
I
I think
know.
it's so funny. Like imagine James as Linguini and Remy is
Also,
Peter.
imagine your name being Linguini. Or like people calling you Linguini. That's so funny to me. Ugh,
Yeah. But I love that. That's my own headcanon and I love it so much. It's so funny
I love
that
it.
like
Oh
Peter
my
as a
God.
rat just
We
like
need to find a Pixar movie for each of them because James has cars and Peter has Ratatouille.
oh my God. I need to fit Wally into that somehow. Remus, I think. Anyways,
Yeah.
getting off track, we have a lot to
We'll
talk
get to
about.
that. We
The
do.
let's talk
Okay.
about we're on a time schedule. Um,
Oh, sure. Sure, we're on a schedule.
yeah, I have like four other meetings to get into after this one, so let's hurry it up. I'm just kidding. I
Okay,
have no
yes,
life.
ma'am.
But um, Ratatouille aside, I think that Peter was like a chef, like a cook. He liked to
Ooh,
bake. He's like Peter.
speaking
Oh,
of
Peter
chefs,
Malak.
I get The Bear season 2 in 8 days and I am ecstatic. I've watched it 3 times already. It's not even been a week.
Oh my
Also,
God.
if you're looking for a really good show about chefs, watch The Bear. It's amazing.
All right.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not. I wasn't, but thanks.
It's my
Maybe I
new
will.
passion.
Maybe I'll
You
watch it.
should. It's really good. And then I can talk about it with someone.
But yeah, I think that Peter would be like a really good cook.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not to like, stereotype like he's plus size and like, oh, he eats all the time. I think that it's more
Mm.
like just
I've
he
rarely
likes,
see plus size chef representation, actually.
yeah.
All the chefs are always like skinny.
I feel like he has like the gift giving love language and he likes to cook for people.
Yes. Or
And
like
just like,
bake. Like bake
yeah.
cookies.
Like he would bring cookies that he baked to little parties and be like, "Oh, I made
That's
these. You
so
want to try them?"
cute. That's so cute. I love that.
Yeah.
I like that. Wow, how do we stem from Ratatouille?
Because like
It's
Matt
cooking,
is
I
a
know.
cook.
I
But yeah,
know. I've only seen that movie twice.
I watched it the other day with my brother for the first
I
time
know.
for him with him.
Oh, okay. I was like, you've only seen it
Um,
once.
but yeah, that's the only ad canon I wrote because I couldn't think of anything else.
That's okay. There's really nothing about him in the fandom.
There
People
is
don't
not.
like him. It's tragic.
And that transitions us to what we're going to talk about. The fandom does not like Peter. And
It's so toxic. It's so toxic.
you could say it's, oh, well, he betrayed his friends, and I understand that. I don't like him for that either, but
I would like to say
it's
so. Oh, I'd like to say something.
go ahead.
It's because he's not pretty.
It's
He
because
doesn't
he's
have pretty privilege.
because
Because
he's
he's,
canonically fat.
yep.
That is why.
And
Straight up.
also he's also not canonically attractive.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair. And I think anybody who treats him like that just because of that is kind of horrible.
Yeah.
Because especially the people who are fans of Barty and Evan, because I'm sorry, they did some even worse things
Yeah, they did worse
than what Peter
things.
did.
Even Sirius said it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Alice and Frank suffered a
Oh,
fate worse than death, which
they
was done by
did.
Barty
Mm-hmm.
and other people, but Barty did a lot of it.
If Barty Crouch Jr. has zero haters, I am dead. Okay? I'm sorry.
We're both dead.
I will hate that man forever. There is no
And
redeeming him. I mean, yeah, I love
again,
David Tennant, but
we're going to talk about them
yeah.
more and why we feel that way, but like I'm the same way. I think his character is interesting, don't get me wrong, but
Oh yeah,
I
he's a good bad guy because he's just like crazy.
he is not the reason I joined the Marauders fandom, and I don't like
Nope.
I feel like it's pushed down my throat. Like if I say I don't
Oh
like
God,
them,
yeah.
people are like, "Why?
Why? Why don't you like him? Why? Hmm? Hmm?
Why? Why?
Why?
Why?"
Why? It's like those birds in Nemo. Mine?
Oh my
Mine? But it's
god.
why? Why? So going off of that, um, the fandom just treats Peter horribly because of what he looks like. Because again,
Yeah.
Evan and Barty only get this baby girl treatment because they are pretty, which they are not baby girl. No, they are not.
Oh my gosh, controversy. I want to add
Controversial, real.
I want to add when like it was normalized for Dane to be the fan cast for Peter because people
Oh,
are
oh.
like relatively attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
And I when I joined the fandom, I feel like not a lot of people were like mad at that fan
There
cast.
was a lot more editing of Peter when he was Dane.
I
I saw someone edit Dane as Peter like a couple weeks ago. Like, and it was
yes,
recent.
some people I feel like it's like the newer people who don't know that like
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
changed, but
My fan cast is Louis Capaldi. I
our
love
fan
him.
cast.
Oh, sorry, our fan cast.
I
Louis
love him.
Capaldi. I love seeing the edits because some of his music videos are so dramatic. So you get like good content. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, he's more attractive to me than Dane. Like
Yeah.
Dane is, he's attractive, like he's good looking, but I am more attracted to Louis Capaldi than I am to him.
Yeah, I think I am too. Oh my God, sometimes I see pictures of him and I'm like, "Oh my God,
He's
like
so fine. I still
Peter."
gotta, he's going on Hot Ones, so I gotta watch that.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
It
I
looked
sent it to you.
very, oh yeah, you did. It looked very Peter
He's
coded.
also, he's so funny.
He
He's one of the
is,
funniest people on TikTok.
which is why he's a perfect Peter fan cast because
Yeah,
I feel like that's what Peter is.
that's
Just
exactly how I
funny.
imagine Peter to be. He's just funny all the time, witty, humorous, like I doesn't give a fuck. I just love him.
I feel like you know how people say Remus is the Casanova of Gryffindor Tower,
No, he's
whatever.
not.
And I'm not saying
But yes,
Peter
I know how
was.
people.
Um,
He was
I
more so than Remus though.
I feel like some of the girls actually like had a crush on him just because of how funny he is.
I would have.
I would have. I
especially if it was Louis
Oh
Capaldi.
my
Whew.
god.
And I
Like,
know it's like said that in the books he was like ugly, but I really think that was just J.K.
so
Rowling being a dick. I truly think that.
like I personality for
Ooh,
a lot of
way
women,
better.
I have found like women prefer personality a
Hmm.
lot of the time. So like I feel like people would have a crush on him but would just never say it because it's like, "Oh, that's Peter, you.
Yeah.
Why'd you
I
have a
feel
crush
like
on him?"
also, and this, I'm not trying to be like, what's the opposite of homophobic? I don't know. I feel
Yay
like
gay.
more like women in like who are like bi or like pan also strive more, well, especially pan, I feel like strive more for personality than looks too, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I just like I know we said that Lily and Peter were like not super duper friends, but I
You
feel
know
like
what? Maybe they were
Lily
lovers.
No, I feel like Lily
Kidding.
secretly had a crush on him, but didn't never said anything because
They
she
made out at a party once, I bet,
I love how you
in
said
the
that like it was a
corner.
fact. Like they made out. I was there. I saw
Yeah,
it.
I was there. I glanced over and they were making out at a party once.
Yeah,
Never been
but
to a party.
me either. My God.
We need to host a party.
Party? Peter and Barty?
Peter and
My
Barty,
God.
ew. Get it away.
Um, but yeah, I feel like again, like I see Lily as very closed off and she wouldn't like talk about her crushes to
Yeah,
people. And I feel like she secretly just had a little crush on him all the time. I was like, he's so funny.
yeah, I agree. But yeah, so he only gets hate on because he's plus size.
Seen as
And
unattractive.
yeah, obviously there are some people who don't like him because of the betrayal.
Yeah.
Like if you're like a James stan like I am, and you don't see Peter in this way, you just see him as someone who betrayed his friends. Yeah, you're gonna hate him. And you know, I absolutely hate what he did to his friends. But I love young Peter because he didn't do that. Young Peter didn't do that.
Yeah, I
Yes, old Peter
before
did, but
before I was in like really into the Marauders era, I obviously like knew what happened and I was
oh
just like,
yeah,
ew,
I hated
Peter.
Peter. He was awful.
But I've grown to love his character because of like how I see him and how like I just wish that he had more love with like how people
Mhm.
write him or how
Yeah.
people talk about him and stuff.
I should start a Peter fan page.
I will.
Just
Let's
for
start
him.
one together.
Okay, that's gonna be what our podcast thing is. It's gonna be Peter themed. Our podcast TikTok.
So, like we said, like Barty and all of them, like they're very, very romanticized in the fandom. I've
Those
noticed,
are
and
the. I bet those are the same people who romanticize Jeffrey Dahmer and like Ted
oh my
Bundy,
god, oh my god.
like in their TV shows.
Um,
No shade, but
but they did like we literally already said it. They did things that were probably worse than what Peter did, and
yeah,
I'm not. It's not a
yeah.
competition, obviously, but
I
like
feel so awful when I think about Alice and Frank and Neville. He had to grow up without parents. Well, but with parents too. But they weren't parents to him because they couldn't be because of the atrocities that happened to
I
him.
I
Happened to
also
them.
I also want to talk about the parallels between Peter and Neville. I think
Yeah.
they're very similar,
Hmm.
except Neville took the right path. And if Peter went down the path that Neville took, he would have been like
People. Oh
amazing.
yeah, he would
Would have
have.
like saved lives like Neville did.
Yeah. Well, go off about that then. I'm waiting to hear.
I mean like when they're younger, you know, like people I mean, I feel like Neville was described as unattractive as well, like not like kind
Hmm.
of stupid and kind of like oh,
Clunky
he's
and
always
awkward and clumsy.
yeah, chubby.
Hmm.
Um and
That's even
same
portrayed
thing
in
with
the
Peter.
movies with
Yeah,
Neville. Yeah.
and he seems almost like annoyingly like attached to Harry at points where he's just
Hmm.
like, oh, like, like, and also the herbology thing. I mean,
I
come on.
love the herbology thing. It's so cute.
My God. If Peter was a good person still, they would have been like best friends. They would have gotten
Oh,
along so
yeah.
well.
If he
And
would have not gone to the dark side, to the Death
yeah.
Eaters.
And I love that in the Deathly Hallows at the very end, we see Neville like walking out and it makes you think like, oh, he's joining
Hmm.
Voldemort. Like, oh my God. That was like his moment where he could have gone
Yeah,
the Peter path, but
that
he
was,
was
yep.
like he showed his good Gryffindor
He showed
side.
the light inside of him.
Yeah. And I feel like Peter definitely had a really big light, but it just dimmed over time.
Hmm.
And he just at some point he couldn't control it anymore and he just
It just got to
lost it.
him. He didn't have a way out. He didn't have, because Lily and James were in hiding. Sirius and Remus were busy with the war. He didn't have that person to pull him out of that. Whereas, like Neville, he did
Yeah.
have friends and people around him.
He had Luna.
He did.
I
Um,
feel like Luna and Ginny were like the very special ones
yeah.
in Neville's life.
Hmm.
And you're
Absolutely.
right, like Peter at that point he didn't have anyone really, and I feel like the order kind of would see him as like, oh, like Peter, don't like
Hmm.
get him to do anything because he's just gonna ruin it or like do something
Yeah.
wrong.
And honestly, Voldemort, because I don't think he was like recruited, but it could have been like Voldemort like saw this and saw how vulnerable he was and been like, "Hey, look what I can give you
I
if you
think
come over here."
it was
Maybe
definitely
not Voldemort
more
himself, but like one of the Death Eaters.
it was definitely more like Voldemort manipulating that part of him and like he
Yeah.
could tell because he's also a mind reader, like he can read literal minds,
What?
Voldemort.
Oh
Yeah, it's
wow.
occlumency. That's why Snape had to make Harry block his memories or learn how to do that.
Right. Oh
Or
yeah, I
wait,
remember
no,
that scene or
that's
some.
what
Yeah, I know what
occlumency
you're.
is. The mind reading is called something else, I think, but I
Yeah,
don't
I know what
remember.
you're. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now though. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Voldemort would have like been able to see that like
Hmm.
Peter needs something like that to lead
Yeah.
him, and he was like, "Oh, perfect. This is my perfect candidate."
This
And he's
is
besties
exactly.
with James
So
Potter.
he's also like a way in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely perfect. Look at that.
I also want to say like I okay, I'm going back to the Barty thing because
Okay.
I've posted about like I've talked about how I think that people don't like Peter because of his
Hmm.
looks.
I always
And
support those videos.
I talked about how like I think Barty is a good example of why there is pretty privilege in this fandom
Yeah, because
because
isn't that there's this one fan cast of him that's like super gorgeous.
the
I don't know
scam
who it
one,
is. I think so.
I
But
don't
like he's
remember.
very conventionally attractive as well.
Yeah. Um and I post something like that and there were people in the comments that were like, "Oh, I see what you mean, but I like Barty because I feel like people see his character as very traumatized and he has trauma and he's interesting."
If you
And
want an
I
interesting traumatized character, go like Remus. He's very traumatized.
exactly. But also Peter is interesting. And
Uh-huh.
it shows by the fact that we've been talking about him for over an hour.
Yeah.
We've
I
managed to talk
still
about
I
and
know
he
I
has the
mentioned this before.
least canon.
I still think he's very interesting for being a hat stall. Like,
Yeah,
is there any other characters that we know of that were hat stalls?
Hermione. And she's
Oh,
like
really?
so like interesting and
Okay,
like
yeah,
she's
I
a
think that's
muggle-born.
fascinating.
She's a muggle-born. She is extremely good at magic. She's so powerful.
I love Hermione.
Yeah. But I know that she was a hat stall.
Okay.
Um I know there was other ones. I'm gonna
Not that it's
assume
important. I'm just curious.
I'm gonna assume Dumbledore was probably a hat stall.
Ugh, that's because he's
Um
extra and he needs to be quirky and different.
he probably told the hat to make it look like he's a hat stall.
Probably. Oh my God.
Um But yeah. Oh, now I want to look that up and see
Okay.
because like
Um,
that's yeah.
Also, I'm not too sure who Evan is. Like, I know he's mentioned in that scene. in
He's
Goblet of
just a
Fire.
he's just a Death
But he's
Eater.
just a Death Eater. Like, he didn't do anything special, right?
No.
Okay. Also, if we're gonna be um talking about any of the Death Eaters, why aren't we talking about like the ones who are better known? Like, why aren't you guys talking about like Lucius? Lucius? I don't know how to
I
say
say
his name.
Lucius
Lucius.
because Voldemort, I remember in one of the movies, he goes, Lucius.
Okay, Lucius. Sorry, I think I've been saying it wrong then.
Also,
Um,
sorry, before you continue, Minerva McGonagall was a hat stall as well.
Slay. What a queen.
So that's fun.
Um, or like Bellatrix.
She has the
Bellatrix is a Death Eater,
longest.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She's like the most loyal follower.
Yeah, duh. Okay, why
Maybe
did I
you're thinking
question that?
of maybe you're
Oh,
thinking
I
of
think I'm thinking of
Narcissa
Narcissa. Yeah.
because she
Sorry.
wasn't.
No, I knew she
But
wasn't. But I did definitely get, okay, yeah. Never mind.
yeah, I just
Silly
was
question.
talking over you. But McGonagall
Okay.
had the longest hat stall, which is cool.
Whoa. What was it? Does it say what it's between?
I don't know. It just says yeah,
J.K. Rowling, could you please
between
like give me that information?
Gryffindor and Ravenclaw, apparently.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. She's a Gryffindor, right?
Neville was
What?
a hat stall.
Oh my God.
What?
What? But I'm gonna
Oh,
guess between Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. That's what
probably
I think it probably was.
because I mean, Hufflepuff is very herbology related, so yeah,
I love
and
Hufflepuffs.
he's loyal. But yeah,
Hufflepuff is the best house. Ravenclaw's
okay.
second best.
You
Okay,
know what? I
Cedric
agree.
Diggory is literally a Hufflepuff.
I mean, yeah,
So is Nymphadora.
yeah. But anyway, we're at an
Okay,
hour and 11 minutes, so
okay.
let's get back into what we really want to talk about.
How toxic the fandom is with. I
Yeah,
truly think it's disgusting. And I know this is going to sound harsh. I think it's disgusting the way the fandom treats Peter just because of what he looks like, just because he's plus size, just because he's not conventionally attractive. I think it is the most foul thing about this fandom, and it
yeah.
breaks my heart as someone who is plus size and not conventionally attractive to know that if I was a character, I would probably get so much shit because of that. It
And
breaks my heart.
I will agree with like the fact that J.K. Rowling kind of started it by
Oh,
making
absolutely,
him
she did.
fat and do something bad. Um, but also there was this one fan film, I'm not going to name it because I actually don't even remember what it was called,
I have
but
no idea.
they had and it was like a very problematic like director or whatever, but they had
Hmm.
casted Peter as a skinny person
Someone with a straight size person. That's like,
and
I think, what it's called.
okay, but people obviously were like upset because like oh we need the representation of like plus
Hmm.
size characters and their response was well like we're trying to break the stereotype and like not have a plus size character be evil.
Then have one of the good characters be plus size. Change that then.
Exactly. Make
Do
like
better.
I like the headcanon that Lily was plus size
Yes, I love that headcanon.
because
Also,
yeah,
even if it's not one of the main characters, just have plus size people in the background. One of my favorite video games, Life is Strange. I cried when I first played it and noticed this. There was just plus size characters in the background, just living their lives, being normal, and it's the first time I saw myself represented in a video
it's
game.
it's because it's important.
It
And
is.
when you're not represented, I mean, like, I don't personally know it because I am like privileged in that
Hmm.
way. Like, I don't want to say I have the ideal body, but like, I
Yeah.
am more of the
You
beauty
can go
standard.
into a store and not worry that they're not going to have your clothing size.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also white
Oh,
and,
me too. Yeah, I
like,
got that privilege.
yeah. So I have seen like Disney princesses that look like me, like Belle, for example, because I have
Hmm.
brown hair and whatever. But like, I can see how like it's important to have that for the people who I don't know don't.
I don't have that. I don't see myself in many of the fandoms that I'm part of. I have Ursula. That's like the only one really that ever comes to my mind,
And
who is a
again,
plus size woman, and it doesn't, and her character, it has to be also a character who their weight doesn't affect anything about their character.
yeah,
Ursula's weight or anything is never brought up or anything. She's just being. She's just Ursula.
yeah. And then,
Um,
I mean, and then she wants to attract the prince to herself, so she goes skinny.
yeah, that part's a little problematic, but
But
we're gonna
she can change her look at will, and she chooses to
exactly.
be
She
a big
chooses to
woman.
be her beautiful, gorgeous, fat self, and I love
Yeah.
it.
And she's like sensual almost. I don't want
Oh,
to say that about a kid's movie, but she is.
she's gorgeous. I love her. Well, she's based off of a drag queen, I believe.
Oh yeah, she is.
I think their name is Divine. I might be wrong about that though.
I think it is.
Okay.
But yeah,
But yeah,
we're way off track now. But
but
it
no,
is
I it's still
important.
representation. Even if it's a bad guy, I still want to see myself. I want to be able to look at a screen and be like, that person looks like me.
People,
It's like how they've made The Little Mermaid. They cast is it
yeah,
is it Hallie
Haley,
or Haley?
Haley
I
Bailey or
think it
something.
I
I
thought
can't
it was
remember.
Hallie. I think it's Halle Bailey. I'm
Maybe.
not sure though. There's little girls who are people of color. They are like, I see myself in that.
I know. And
I
it
don't
just,
I don't get that.
yeah. And that's why it's so important because like young people are very influenced by what they watch.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you're maybe not of the beauty standard and you see only people that are white, skinny, and I don't know, whatever, like you get
It's
insecure.
it's it's definitely hard because I grew up like that. It has an effect on how you see yourself.
Yeah.
And also with their response being like, "Oh, we want to break the stereotype," blah blah. Um, like I don't. That's not their place as skinny people to see that as a stereotype
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, we need to break that." That is not your place to do that.
To
And
just take
also,
that away from people.
yes, exactly. And also, with the fandom still treating Peter like this, yes, it stems from J.K. Rowling, but so does her transphobia. And the fandom has worked very hard to try and better that and change that and like alter their behavior and stuff. And like I see headcanons of the characters being trans and gay to battle
Hmm.
that. We don't have that with the plus size people,
And
like characters.
there's one that I see a lot, which is Ron is trans,
Oh yeah, I
female to
see that.
male. And I feel like I see people that are like, what? Like, ew. And I saw this one video where they were talking about the Harry Potter reboot and they're like, "Oh, they're going to try to make it woke and like make Ron trans." And it's like,
Good.
why not? Cool. Like how's that going to
Yeah.
affect the storyline? It won't because it's
Mm-hmm.
just how he identifies
Yeah,
and it's representation and it makes people feel like they belong in a fun world like that, like an interesting world that people
exactly.
enjoy
Like I would
and they're
love to
not.
be able to see myself in one of these fantasy worlds.
Yeah.
I've never been a superhero. I've never been a princess. I've never been an elf. I've never been any of these things. I've never been able to see myself as that.
Yeah. And it's just ridiculous that they like some people just think like, "Oh, well, it's okay. We're like breaking the stereotype." But like no, you're just making it worse.
No, you're hurting it. You're harming it because you're putting it to a point of where even plus size people can't be villains. Like we can't even be a bad guy.
And you know what? Like people like villains.
Oh, I
People
love
gravitate towards villains when they
half of
have
my favorite Marvel characters are villains.
like again, Barty, for example, and I know it's pretty
Hmm.
privileged a lot, but
Oh yeah, but people still love
because
them.
he has that character depth, like he gets that love. And I'm not saying that
Yeah.
everyone who likes Barty is only because he's attractive, like they can still like him because of his character, But
Again, mentioning Ursula, people love the Disney villains. The Disney villains have their own fandom because people adore villains.
yeah. And I think that's why like we were so like excited to do this episode because we knew we
Yeah,
would get to talk about and like just explain why like hating on Peter so relentlessly but liking someone like Barty, for example, is just
it's
not.
very hypocritical.
Yeah.
And like not maybe that's not the right word, but it's very I don't know, but it's wrong.
I remember I got a comment where it was like, well, people don't like Barty or people don't like Peter because he betrayed like the characters that they like. But no, that isn't entirely true because
Yeah.
Barty literally removed Neville's relationship with his
Yeah,
parents.
if you are a fan of Neville and you also like Barty, then that argument is invalid.
And if you aren't a fan of Neville, then I don't know who you are because
Yeah, who how would you not like Neville? He's the sweetest. I love
if
him.
Neville has zero fans, everyone is dead.
Everybody.
Everyone
Yeah.
in the world is dead.
Everybody in the world has just passed away.
Yeah. But I like again, I already said this, but Peter has an interesting character arc
Oh yeah.
and it's because it's unexpected. We never expected him
Oh yeah,
to
no. With
betray.
how close he was to the Marauders, like you gotta really think like what really went on through his like going through his head to do something so terrible to them.
It's
Like you gotta think what happened.
like with Snape stands, they really like him because he has that really like he's a Death Eater, but he
Mm-hmm.
also has depth in their eyes. And I'm not going to say
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't. He does have character depth. I just personally don't like his character because he's
I think it
gross.
also a little bit we can bring Regulus into that, where people love Regulus and he's a Death Eater, but like he's also so deeply complex in that
Yeah.
way because he was like on the bad side and then like moved to try and help and destroy these Horcruxes and hopefully defeat Voldemort.
I think Regulus is also a good example of pretty privilege, and
Oh, absolutely.
it's not about the fact that he's a Death Eater. It's about I want to talk about the fan cast for, or not the fan cast, the actual cast for him. And I know
Mm.
people make jokes, and even I've made jokes because it's
I
like, oh,
only
that's
make
not.
jokes because the photos of him in the movie, they're so crispy and you
It's
can barely make it
terrible
out.
quality, and you can't even see him. But there are people who are like, ew, like he's so ugly, and like
He's literally
no.
not.
And then as soon as
What?
it's like, oh, Timothy Chalamet, the attractive actor is the fan cast for Regulus, they're like, oh, he has so much depth in his character.
I'm Googling the actor right now
I think I
for
have before,
I want to know. No,
but
he's very handsome.
yeah, it's
Oh, that's
literally
horrible
just
lighting.
that would be a good Snape,
Oh, he would.
honestly. But anyway, yeah, I
His name is Thomas Moorcroft, if you want to Google him.
yeah,
That's the actor for Regulus in the movies.
I think it's kind of gross that people like kind of make fun of that picture when it's about like how he looks because that's a
Yeah.
real person that you're talking
Right?
about. And if I were like a small part in a big franchise and like people liked my character that I played, I would be like, "Oh, like what
Hmm.
are they saying about me?" And then I see them
And
making
then you
fun
see
of
that.
me.
Yeah,
Are you
that
kidding?
would feel awful.
Yeah. And it's the same with
It's
like the younger Marauders cast that they had in the
yeah.
flashback.
Oh, they're kids. Why are
Yeah.
we judging how they looked anyway?
And I know
Or how
people say like, "Oh, it's not what I think that they look like," but like, who cares?
doesn't mean they look bad. Doesn't mean you
Yeah,
have to go being rude about it. People also shit on a lot the actor who plays James.
I
Um,
hate people who do that because I think he's
oh,
so attractive.
and he looks like Daniel Radcliffe.
That
That
is
is what
what,
they were going for.
yeah, that's what they were doing. They
I
were,
do agree, he definitely looked a bit old, but they were mostly going for someone who looked like Daniel.
and it's not like it was a big part. It was literally them standing there in a mirror,
Exactly.
and maybe the last movie when they say like two
Yeah.
lines.
Wasn't
But
James also in Goblet of Fire? Or was it just Lily in that scene?
yeah, they were but you couldn't
Okay.
really see that they looked like
Yeah.
older. But who's to say that they didn't age in the afterlife? And also,
Exactly. We don't know that.
nobody, I mean, I guess maybe some people do, but people don't really hate on David Thewlis, and he looked way older than like
Oh,
30.
yeah.
And I love him as Remus
Even
because
Gary
he played the
Oldman
part.
looked really old,
They
like compared
played
to his. Yeah.
they played the part that they had to play, and
Hmm.
they did it perfectly, and it has their looks have nothing to do with it
Exactly.
because they just were hired because they did a good job. And
Yeah. And people can't even use the fan cast as an excuse. Andrew Garfield is the fan cast for David Thewlis, but people don't hate on David Thewlis just because of that. Because Andrew Garfield is conventionally more attractive and younger,
Andrew
if that
Garfield
makes
is
sense.
the fan cast for David Thewlis.
I
That's what
mean,
you just said.
for Remus, not David
Yeah.
Thewlis.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I know what
fan
you mean.
casting David Thewlis as for I can't speak. Never mind. Oh my god.
Definitely there is pretty privilege in the fandom, and that's what we're
Mhm.
trying to get across.
I'm disgusted by it, truly.
But especially with the Peter one, it's really gross.
Yeah. It honestly makes me like I'm not proud to call myself a Marauders fan when I know that there's stuff like that in the fandom hurting people who look like me.
Yeah.
Like I'm not proud. I don't like being part of this fandom sometimes cuz it's awful.
And then you have the people who like, they kind of see people talking about how it's not fair that Peter gets this treatment, but then they're like, "Oh, who cares? It's just a character." It's not
It's
just a
not. It's
character.
representation. It's this story that we all love. And the same people who say that about Peter go to war for the other characters as if they're not just
James.
characters. James.
James, who was a bully. He
Mm-hmm.
was a bully.
Mm-hmm.
He's defended to the core because he
Oh
has
yeah.
pretty privilege.
So is Snape. People defend
Hmm.
Snape with everything in their being.
Because they're weirdly obsessed with Alan Rickman. Okay, I don't want to say weirdly
Yeah.
because like I'm the same
It's
way with
no,
other
yeah.
actors,
But
but
no, I understand what you mean though.
yeah, just some people are a little crazy with the Alan Rickman. It's very
Yeah.
parasocial and it's not healthy, but
Yeah.
yeah, again, pretty privilege. Grindelwald. I
Grindelwald.
don't know.
Oh yeah, he gets pretty privileged, yeah. Especially now, I feel like now that Mads, is it Mickelson or Michelson?
Mickelson, I think.
Mickelson, plays him. I saw like an influx of Grindelwald edits. Which one? Where was that for Johnny Depp? He's so handsome.
I'm here for it though.
Oh
I
yeah,
love
absolutely.
Mads.
He's
He's
very.
so
I want to watch
attractive to
Hannibal. I've
me.
heard he's like really good in that one, in
Yeah.
that show. Um, that's unrelated. But yeah, like I saw an influx of edits, and Grindelwald is not a good person. Also, why didn't they have Jamie Campbell Bower play him
I don't
again?
know.
He's so handsome.
You know another
Anyway,
character who has pretty
what?
privilege who shouldn't?
Wait, let me
Tom
guess.
Riddle.
Oh, I
A
should have known.
fucking
I
serial
hate that guy.
killer.
I hate that guy.
A fucking serial killer
Yeah,
has
y'all really out here.
more edits and fan fictions written about him than Peter Pettigrew.
It's disgusting. And yes, the actor who plays Tom Riddle's very handsome.
He
But
is, yeah.
in Chamber of Secrets, not the one from, I'm not talking about the child one.
Yeah,
Although I
no,
guess
no,
he's
no.
not a child anymore. But that's not what I'm talking about. The one who plays him
Harvin
in Chamber of...
Scott.
Oh,
I
stop.
can't believe that's him. Sorry, keep
Stop it.
going.
The one who plays him in Chamber of Secrets, yes, he's very attractive. I will admit. Also, the actor who plays like Voldemort when he's like um just old Voldemort, he's also very handsome. He's in the menu.
Oh, Ralph
Yeah.
Fiennes?
Yeah, I don't know what his name is, but that guy.
Hmm.
He's very handsome,
He
especially when he was
is.
younger.
Yeah, there's a lot of pretty privilege in every fandom, but especially in the Marauders fandom when it
Hmm.
comes to Peter.
It's horrid. It's horrendous.
There's more problematic things in the fandom, like the misogyny
Absolutely.
and
But we're going to get
um,
into that in our toxicity of the fandom episode.
yeah. Oh my God. There's just so much I could say, but we've been on here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, this is definitely a long episode. Sorry, guys. Thank you for listening
Yeah.
if you've got to this point. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I just really
Let
wanted to bring
us,
awareness to all this.
yeah. Let
Not
us
like
know, like,
awareness, but
your own thoughts about it because
yeah.
I'm sure, like, this probably
People are
brought up,
gonna disagree with us, obviously, and
I'm
we want
sure.
to hear your side then. Why do
Yeah.
you think, like, why do you disagree, basically, if you do?
Or why do you agree? Like, what do you have to
Yeah,
add on? Or, yeah, we like to hear from you guys.
we
It's
love
fun
it. I
to
get
know
so
that
excited
people,
when we get comments.
yeah, like, share, follow, subscribe, comment, all the things,
Yeah.
please.
Well,
And yeah, that was a lot.
this has been Marauders at Midnight. Thanks for sticking with us for through this one.
Hmm. We're probably going to bring it up again at some point, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. I will never stop talking about this until
Yeah,
it's fixed. And it never will be. Because,
unfortunately, it
yeah,
won't. Yeah.
but I will never stop.
I'm not gonna stop. Not gonna stop till I get
I'm
my
gonna stop
shot.
till I get my shot. That's who I am. That is my
That is my
plan.
plan.
We'll
Will
end up
end
on
up.
top. You can bet on
Bet
it,
on
bet
it,
on
bet
it,
on it,
bet on
bet
it,
on it,
bet on it.
bet on you can. Bet on it.
Oh my
We
God. Not the High
ran
School
with that.
Musical. Yeah, I love that song. I paid $1.29 for that song when I still bought music on iTunes.
Yeah. But anyways, thanks for hanging out with us
Yeah, thank
for so
you.
long.
Yeah.
We love ya. Love ya.
Love ya. Love ya.
Yep.
I don't
How
want to
do
see
we
your
end this?
face ever again. I've looked at you
Whoa.
like 4 hours now.
Wow. Wow.
Kidding. Love you.
But you didn't know I
You're
was
great.
secretly
You were
in love
nice.
with you like Peter this whole time.
If anyone's secretly in love with anyone, I'm secretly in love with you.
Oh, maybe we should end this right now and continue
Let's go
this.
make out. I gotta shoot my shot.
Oh, okay. They're clicking off. Bye.
Bye.